Hi, my name is Barb Nangle. I'm the founder of Higher Power Coaching and Consulting. I want to welcome you to my podcast, Fragmented to Whole, Life Lessons from 12-Step Recovery. This is episode 22, TMI, Too Much Information. When I was in my mid-20s, I had a boss who asked me if my mother told me when I was growing up that I was supposed to verbalize every single thought I ever had in my head. I told her no, but just to make sure, I asked my mom, and she said no, she'd never told me that. What my boss was basically telling me was TMI, Barb, too much information. This was way before TMI was even an expression. I'm bringing this up because I realized the other night that I've come a really long way since then. I no longer do this. I've learned to give only pertinent information to people. Well, most of the time. I still do love to weave out a story. I've really learned that less is more. And this is especially true when you're setting a boundary, negotiating something, or trying to resolve something. I was talking with some friends after a meeting recently, and one of them was talking about a scenario she was dealing with. It was a really difficult situation involving another person, and my friend was prepared to give a lot of information to the person about why she was making a particular decision and all of the contextual information that went into it. And I thought, oh my God, that was me before recovery. I gave TMI to people all the time. What I've learned in recovery is that less is more. This is especially true if I have a disagreement with someone. The way I think of it is this: the more information I give the person, the more places they have to hook onto my story. The more things they have to dispute, the more opportunity they have to engage with me. And if I'm trying to make a decision, or I'm trying to negotiate or set a boundary, then I want to give them as little opportunity as I can to challenge what I have to say, or as few details with which to disagree with me. Before recovery, I sort of felt like I had to justify everything I had to say to somebody, and that they needed to know all the reasons why I had done something or why I had made a decision about something. On top of that, I'm the kind of person who really likes context. Context is important to me, so I kind of assumed everybody wants to know the context of a situation. And the reality is, not everybody wants to know context. So I've learned that I'm much better off to give less information. And if somebody actually wants more information, then they can ask for it. I don't have to give it to them if I don't want to. When it comes to setting a boundary with someone, we're better off just saying, this is the boundary, and sticking to the facts of the situation. For example, if you do this, I'm going to do that. When this friend was talking about all the stuff that she was planning to share with the other person, I asked if I could make a suggestion, because I'm learning not to give unsolicited advice all the time, which I did all the time before recovery, but didn't know it. And she said yes. And when I shared this idea that less is more, don't give the person any details, just say, this is what's going to happen, there was another friend who was present who said, actually, Barb gave me that same advice recently, and it was really, really handy. And then she remembered, actually, there were 2 scenarios where Barb gave me that advice, and it had really helped her. And the second scenario was where she had to get out of a situation with somebody. She simply said to them, something's come up, I have to go, and then she left. She didn't go into the situation with them. She didn't tell them that the something that had come up was them and that they were triggering her. She just left the situation, not explaining it, which resulted in her having a lot less anxiety. Now, don't get me wrong, she did have anxiety about the situation, but it was way less and it was way shorter than if she had explained everything, because she just said the things she had to say and then she acted and got the hell out of there. She didn't hem and haw with the person. She didn't go back and forth with them. She didn't give them the opportunity to go back and forth. And she was able to leave the situation immediately. I've been doing a lot of research on boundaries lately because I'm working on a piece about boundaries and I want it to be as succinct as possible while at the same time being really comprehensive. It's been really informative. And one of the things that all the experts agree on is that when you set a boundary, that you should be as brief as possible and that you don't make explanations. You don't need to give people too much information. The other thing that I will say while I'm thinking of this is that if you want to have an important conversation with someone, if the communication you're having is really important, stop doing it via text message. So many people I talk to in recovery are having really important exchanges with others via text, and there is so much opportunity for misinterpretation. Think if you were reading the words that you're hearing me say and you weren't hearing the inflection in my voice, because I use a lot of inflection. Lots of people do. And the emphasis is really lost in text messages. When somebody is having an important conversation, it deserves to have the full expression. It deserves to have the accents in the right places, and it deserves to have the mood come across and all of that. And you just can't do that via text. So stop giving too much information and stop communicating important things via text when you should either pick up the phone or go see the person, especially if it's a difficult topic. That's all I got for today, folks. I hope this wasn't TMI. Ciao for now. That's it for today. If you like what you've heard here, then you just might be interested in private coaching with me. If that sounds like you, head on over to my website, which is higherpowercoachingandconsulting.com, and click on the contact menu. I'd be happy to schedule a consultation with you to help you make lasting changes in your life, like I've made deep, lasting changes in my life. My ideal client is someone who is ripe for change, but I'll coach anyone who wants to be happy, joyous, and free. So if that's you, shoot me an email. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe so you can be sure to get future episodes of my podcast. Thanks again.